Dear participants of the conference, I'm delighted and I have the possibility to speak to you all at the 8th All Ukrainian Students Scientific and Practical Online Conference, Significant Achievements in Science and Technology. Today we have the possibility to discuss with you the main challenges that face us concerning the issues of the environment and global science. Please, the moderator of our conference, Sophia Laleka. You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to thank you, everyone, for coming today. And now I propose let's go straight to our first speaker, Yulia Marinchuk.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So the topic of my research is the importance of using CAT tools for translators. The aim of my research is to generalize upon how computer-assisted translation tools work and to define their role in the present-day translation industry. And so we analyze the advantages and disadvantages and also summarize its influence on the work of translators. Before, translators' work was incredibly hard because they must do everything fast and right. There is a huge amount of uneasy tasks for which translators spent lots of time and energy. It was really monotonous and some tasks are usually repeating, so it's quite monotonous job, yes. And it had deadlines and needs no mistakes. It needs perfect work. But over time, everything is improved by new technologies. You will instantly remember machine translations, but machine translation has no human effort required, and our CAT tools has a blend of human efforts and technology, and machine translations consumes less time, but the level of accuracy is low, and CAT tools high level and less time here. Machine translation cannot translate context, and CAT tools can understand, can translate all these items, all phrases, and so on. Machine translation doesn't work with items, and CAT tools can translate everything. Machine translation is free, but CAT tools, not all of them are available. So what is it, CAT tools? CAT tools is computer-assisted translation. It was in general, but what do CAT tools actually consist of? There are several main components of CAT tools. The first one is translation memory that remembers words, all words, and it helps translators with them in the right moment. There are also term bases is the second one. The great advantages of each item is that it can store different words, so all phrases, items, and it can help translators to work with context. It's like the translation memory, but it has advanced options that allow translators to work easily and quickly with specific vocabulary. The next element of CAT tools is desktop publishing. It gives the opportunity to create assignments, rewrite files, and extract the required text easily. By using it, translators can easily analyze quality of their work and finish tasks quickly. There are also actually dictionaries for retrieving words, and we can see all these components are closely related to each other, but also they're closely related to each other, but using dictionaries, we can not only restore many words, but also check their spelling, and we can get the necessary meaning of various synonyms through the auto-suggest. And translators can use not only their own work, but also embrace the help of machine translation engines. There is also the opportunity to work individually or be in a group with other translators. So how memory element works, I will show you. We just can source the document, then we upload it to translation memory software. We should source the sentence. For example, the house is big is our sentence, and then translation memory just give us translation, la maison est grande, in French. We have this sentence, and now we have two options. One is original, and the next was in translated sentence. So it's like translation memory database. It's our result of it. Here you also can see DTP request. It provides text preparation and formatting services in all languages, and it's quite flexible when it comes to DTP software. Now we'll see standard desktop publishing workflow. First of all, we can create assignment. We should create assignment, then we select a vendor, evaluate files, then we confirm availability, register a job in TMS, and then perform desktop publishing, accept processed all materials, analyze quality, and finalize the project, confirm final acceptance, and then we got feedback and updates. It's about DTP request, one of the main components of CAD tools. So collaboration. Translators can work not only by themselves, they also can work in groups, and it gives the opportunity to work to groups, to meet new people, to divide all work by themselves, and it helps them to work quickly, to faster, and in the result to have greater productivity. But also there are some concepts of CAD tools. So it's ability with literally genres. As mentioned earlier, translators can maximize their productivity in translations through CAD tools when handling projects that have often used phrases, clauses, and sentences. This frequently happens with many subject matters such as legal, medical, financial, and others. However, using CAD tools with literary genres, for example, could highly be ineffective and unproductive. There are also poor segmentation. It's in many cases some file formats, PDFs, for example, could lead to poor segmentation when processed with a standalone CAD tool. This frequently happens when the PDF format, especially a file loaded with many screenshots. Also, it's pricing. Yeah, there are most of them are not affordable, especially for translators who start their professional career in translation and localization. So it's hard to use because it's not available. Actually, the most popular CAD tools, paid CAD tools, it's Memoirs, WordB. So you can see all this in this slide, but beginners can overcome all these difficulties by using the free one, SmartCAD, MadeCAD, OmegaCAD. So you see them. So what we have in result, by using CAD tools, translators have creativity in their work, where they can just decide their project and to work with them, with it, with creativity and with connectivity with other people in groups. There are also comfortable space for working. They can work at home in these different and comfortable programs. There are also productivity because they do everything fast and with good quality and accuracy of the translation. And what about the future translation? I think in the future, the interaction between a robot and a person will continue to improve. With a lot of effort, people will be able to create a robot that can completely replace human labor in this field, but this will cause dissatisfaction on the part of translators who love their profession. So it would be great to just have interaction between a robot and a person. And that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Wonderful. Thank you for your interesting report, Julia. And now, dear participants, welcome your questions. Olaya, yes, please.
Okay, my question is, what is the main advantage of CAD tools in your opinion?
In my opinion, thank you for your question. By the way, in my opinion, the main advantage is that we can embrace the help of machine translation. We can embrace their help, but we can also work by themselves. So we can. I study in faculty of linguistics, so I would like to love my job and to work in this field, and it's important for me. But also, CAD tools can help me to work faster, to have more productivity in it, to correct my mistakes in translation, to help me with it.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. And now, Maxim.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much, Julia, for your interesting presentation. I have two questions. First question, when was created CAD tools? And the next question, how much people use this program? Maybe you know.
Thank you for your question. So this CAD tools was invented in our century. So it was several years ago. I don't know actually the exactly date, the number of months and so on, but it was it's the latest the latest thing. So and now with it's this program spread between other translators, and most of the professional professional translators use it, and they must use it because it really helps. Now it's impossible for translators and for any people to have the perfect work, so they must use it, and they almost every translators use them. Even yes, they are huge pricing, but they also can overcome it, and they in results they have salary, so they can overcome it by it.
All right, great. We are done with the questions. It's time to, and thank you, Julia, for your report and for your answers. And now it's time to move on to our next speaker, Mark Schligin.
Yes, good morning. Am I auto to turn on camera? Or I can do it without camera? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, super.
It's possible to turn on camera if you want to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so today my speech will be about the topic of renewable energy sources and their possibilities in our world, their advantages and disadvantages. So first of all, let me first tell you about what is a renewable resource. So it is a resource that can be refilled naturally, gradually. Appropriately, it is imprescriptible despite its exhaustion by humankind. They include something like biomass energy or solar energy, hydropower, wind energy, and geothermal power. Also, few more, however, we won't mention about them. So let's talk about the main three energy sources that can fill our energy with renewable sources. So first of all, let's mention geothermal power. Geothermal power is really important because it uses our heat of our core first to produce electricity, to produce energy. So why this method of manufacturing electricity is really good? Because it's ecological friendly. There we use only heat of our planets and water that goes deep down in the ground and heat it. After that, it goes up and be refueled in the station. Here you can see pictures, how does it work, and how does it look like. Okay, and let's proceed to another example. It's wind turbines. It's one of the oldest methods of producing renewable energy sources, and also one of the most comfortable. Why? Because it produces electricity only by wind or flows of river or their seas. How you can see in picture, it's open, stay in the water, or on the ground, and just producing the energy by turning around. And next one is solar panels. The cheapest and much more easygoing. So it just using heat of our sun, radiation that coming from our sun, to produce electricity. Nowadays, we can see the solar panels in a lot of different places. For example, in Europe, a lot of country houses have their own solar panels to produce electricity and don't be addicted to government electricity. Okay, but let's talk about how COVID affected to producing our electricity. So before COVID started, we used to use fuels, energy, wherever it was, and we needed to produce really a lot of electricity. However, nowadays, when COVID started, since COVID started, a lot of people don't use energy as much as before. That's why we can we can change our electricity to renewable energy and save some electricity that we don't use during the time to use it over the time when it will be much more comfortable for us. So during the COVID pandemic, our economic situation became much more stable because electricity was cheaper, and it produces in much more amount. Okay, but is it possible, and how to make full changeover in a world on renewable energy? So to make the full changeover, we need to build a lot of stations, a lot of different facilities to produce this electricity. And it's the main problem because it's probably tough for us. We need to construct all these vehicles, spend a lot of money, a lot of time, and also a lot of different equipment and resources that been not renewable, and it can have harmful impact on our ecology system because we will use different facilities to produce them. Also, if during for the forecast, it must at all cost only $6 trillion. It's pretty much just for all the world. Not 6, 23. I guess 23. Yes. Oh, sorry. And what the point? The point is that for the forecast, also all this spent will pay off only in over the 6 years. However, it's not the sure information, and so our worlds cannot afford this changeover now. And which country is fully supported by renewable energy sources already? So let's talk about Norway, because how you can see, this country have been already supported by the renewable energy sources for 98%. So fully country is using renewable energy sources, and in the Europe, it is one of the most promising countries by the cheaper electricity. How much energy is already produced by renewable energy sources in the world? So, due to the statistic, in our world is already produced 34% of renewable energy. So yes, it's pretty much for this time, and hopefully this percent will grow up. To sum up my point of view, an idea of the changeover is promising. However, due to crisis in different countries and war, our world is not ready now to afford this breakthrough. This was my main point of view, because as I write, we don't have now money and time to make this full changeover. Our country is not ready for that, because everyone needs to speak about it and construct all these vehicles together. However, now not all countries want to get in contact with other countries, so it's pretty tough for us to make it. And that's why this breakthrough is impossible for us now. So this is all. Thank you for your attention. I'm open to questions.
Wonderful. So now, Zahar, you are first.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for conversation. My question, okay, what is your opinion about future solar energy in the world and in our country after war, maybe?
Okay, thank you for the question. It's really interesting question. So, we need to think in a case that we will, of course, win this war. That's why I guess after war, everything in our country will improve. While Europe and America will spend for us a lot of money. They have already spent for us a lot of money, and afterwards they will continue to spend it for us. So hopefully, first time, yes, of course, it will be tough to renovate all the energy resources that we've been lost. However, over time, it won't be a problem, and I hope that during the nearest 10-15 years, scientists will create new types of producing renewable energy that is much more easygoing, and it will be not there impossible to make this changeover only in one country and also in the whole world. So yes, I guess situation in Ukraine will be perspective and promising for us.
Thank you for answer.
Thank you. And now, Maxim.
So, Mark, in your opinion, what type of renewable energy sources is the best?
Thank you for the question. It's also a question. Really, I'm not sure that I can answer on this question, because each type of renewable energy sources is really dependent for the weather. For example, we can't use solar panels in the winter because there is no sun, no heat from that. Also, we can't use the geothermal electrification because not in all spots of our world the heat of core of our planets is close up to us enough. And it's also about wind turbines. Not every region has winds, not all the time. That is why it's really tough to say what is the best one of them, what is the most comfortable. I guess that they're all good for us, and we need just use them all together in different periods of time as much as comfortable for us. And this will be the most procedurous way for us.
All right. And now, Vladislav.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for your great presentation. I have a question more to particular part of your presentation. What are the reasons for decrease of energy consumption during COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay, it's pretty easy because thank you for the question, of course. Yes, so And the main point is that before COVID started, we needed to produce a lot of different resources, not as energy, but also, for example, fuel and other types of harmful resources for us. So we need to spend energy not only for our homes, however, to everything else. But during COVID, a lot of facilities stopped their work for some time. That's why the amount of produced energy increased, and the amount of facilities that's work now reduced.
Thank you for your answer.
Wonderful. And now Ivanka.
Thank you for your presentation. In your opinion, which of the types of renewable energy is the most relevant for Ukraine?
Okay, thank you for your question. Most renewable for Ukraine. Really, it's pretty tough for me to answer. I guess that maybe geothermal power will be the best for us only in some region of Ukraine. However, it will be the best for us. Also, we can use solar panels when it's summertime or the early autumn or the late spring. However, I don't think that wind turbines is comfortable and pretty renewable for our country. So geothermal power and solar panels.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you for your answers and your wonderful presentations, Mark. And now let's listen to the third report by Karina Harchuk. You are welcome.
Okay.
1 second. Ivanka, do you have one more question?
No.
Wonderful. You're welcome, Karina.
Do you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. My name is Karina Harchuk, and I'm a student of the Faculty of Electronics. There I'll focus on the urgency of the problem, causes and consequences of global warming, and solving this important problem. It will take about 6 minutes to cover this issue, and you will have time to ask me a few questions at the end of the presentation. So, the urgency of the problem. You can see a chart which showed the steadily increasing concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere in 2090 was the highest in the last 2 million years. And the global surface temperature of the Earth has increased faster since 1970 than any other 50 years period in history in the last 2,000 years. The past 5 years have been the hottest on record since 1850, and literally on the 11th of August 2021, Europe recorded the highest temperature for the entire time of observation on the Italian island of Sicily. The air temperature rose to plus 48.8 degrees Celsius. And every year, about 5 million people in the world died due to extremely high temperatures caused by global warming. So the causes of global warming are that humans began burning large amounts of fossil fuels to generate energy, leading to a repeat increase in CO2 emissions. When we burn fossil fuels, carbon dioxide is released into the air, which is the most common of all greenhouse gases. However, this gas is not the only source. Another main source is the rotting of plant matter and livestock waste from agricultural activities. In this case, the greenhouse gas methane is formed. It's not as common as carbon dioxide, but it's 48 stronger. Also, CO2 emissions are caused by fires. For example, in Siberia, there was an unusual active forest fire season, which led to a third increase in CO2 emissions in 2020 compared to 2019. The consequences of global warming are horrible. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the global temperature of the planet has increased by almost 1 degree Celsius. Even this seemingly insignificant warming has caused serious problems. The area of glaciers is decreasing, the sea level is rising, strong storms, tornadoes, abundant floods, and droughts have become more frequent. Maintaining the current rate of increase in the concentration of greenhouse gases may lead to an increase in the average temperature of the planet to 4 degrees Celsius in 2100. If countries do not take urgent action to reduce greenhouse gas emission, the projected rise in sea levels could reach almost 1 meter and the loss of snow cover, the reduction of glaciers in the Arctic. There will also be frequent inflows of warm currents, which will be reflected in the ocean ecosystem. The increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere leads to another problem, ocean acidification. Even the smallest change in ocean pH is enough to devastate an ecosystem. And on the world map, you can see some of the most significant climate events that occurred during February 2022. About 30% of the CO2 released into the atmosphere is absorbed by the ocean, mitigating global warming, but producing enough carbonic acid to kill and dissolve corals. Shellfish and fish also suffer from the oxidation of ocean water. This can lead to the reduction of fish stocks or their complete extinction, which can threaten fisheries and the well-being of coast communities. What's about problem solving? During the signing of the Paris Agreement, scientists emphasized that to ensure human existence on the planet and preserve biodiversity, it's necessary to keep global warming within 2 degrees Celsius, and ideally within 1.5. It's necessary to give up cars because compared to walking, cycling, or public transport, car pollutes the environment much more. For the same number of people, you need several dozen cars or public transport. Also, giving up cars trips reduce CO2 emission into the atmosphere by 2.5 tons. You can use trains because taking into account the highest degree of electrification, the railways accounts for only 1% of carbon dioxide emission among all types of transport in the European Union. Reducing the demand for energy and increasing the efficiency of food production, changing the diet, and reducing losses and waste in the food industry has a significant potential to reduce harmful emission. It's necessary that by 2050, renewable energy sources supply 70 to 85% of electricity. So in conclusion, I would like to say that it's necessary to reduce the amount of CO2 emissions into the atmosphere as soon as possible, despite the fact that it can be expensive and inconvenient, because without it, we and our descendants will have a terrible life. And that's all from me. If you have any question, I'll be happy to answer them.
All right, dear participants, does anyone have any questions for Karina? Olaya Verana, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. And my question is, what is the biggest contributor to global warming?
Can you explain me what's a contributor? What do you mean?
What problem is the global?
What problem?
Yeah.
So I told it there. You can. There will be. No, the sea level is rising. Could be strong storms, tornadoes, abundant floods, and droughts. Like this.
All right, thank you. And now, Julia.
Thank you, Karina, for your interesting presentation. I have a question. How do you help the world avoid global warming?
If we will hold the temperature only in 1 degree Celsius warming.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
If the temperature will exceed only 1 degree Celsius. Do you understand me?
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Then thank you, Karina, for your detailed presentation and your answers. And now let's go to our last but not least report for today from Daria Moroz. Daria Moroz, you're welcome.
So can you hear me?
Yes, everything is fine.
I want to present my thesis on the main features and advantages of plastic PET and bioplastic PLA. First of all, I want to say that PLA, polylactic acid, is a thermoplastic substance which is obtained from renewable sources such as plant starch or sugarcane. Here we can see a formula of this polylactic acid and how it is obtained. It is obtained from the depolymerization of the lactic acid monomer, which is produced from the fermentation of sugar feedstock, corn, or other renewable materials. So let's consider the advantages and disadvantages of PLA plastic. PLA is made from renewable raw materials, and ordinary plastic PET is made from fossil fuels. It has a reduced carbon footprint compared to PET, and production of PLA takes less energy and releases less greenhouse gases to atmosphere. And here we can see that recycling PLA emits less carbon dioxide than recycling ordinary plastic. PLA has a lower melting point than PET. It's easy to work with PLA, and it requires less energy to modify it. And it is used in 3D printing, and here we can say a product made of PLA using 3D printer. PLA is compostable, and PLA degrades into non-toxic acid, lactic acid. Disadvantages. PLA is more expensive than PET. In spite of the raw materials difference, PLA can be produced using the same equipment as PET, and it makes PLA cheaper, but it is still expensive to produce it. And food crops are used to produce PLA, for example, corn. The residue is not compost, and it doesn't improve the quality of the soil and gives no nutrient. It changes the pH value of the soil, making it more acidic because the PLA degrades into lactic acid. PLA has a lower melting point, so it cannot be recycled with other plastic. It is unsuitable for high temperature applying. And it made PLA also more expensive because it can't be recycled with other plastic. It needs some equipment for PLA. So at the conclusion, I want to say that PLA is more ecological and easily recyclable, but this bioplastic has also some problems with its application and production. For example, it melts easily, it is useless after recycling, and has higher price. I suppose that in the near future, this plastic will be improved to be more convenient in use, cheaper, and ecologically friendly. Thank you for your attention.
All right, and now, dear participants, please welcome your questions. Maxim, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Karina, for your interesting presentation. I have one question. When I saw you demonstrated disadvantages, what does it mean, pH?
It is a chemical we have acid, and it has acid pH is it's very high pH, and the soil becomes more acidic. pH is we can have natural pH, acid pH, and it's made that the soil becomes more acidic.
Thank you very much for your answer, Karina.
Zahar, you're welcome.
Thank you for conversation. Okay, my question: where we can use this material right now? Maybe in some, maybe for some liquid, or maybe some in other way.
No, we can make bottles, for example, and we can use it in 3D printing and make different things from this PLA plastic. And we can make things that we don't use in high temperatures because it's have a low melting point.
Okay, thank you. And what is the high temperatures? What is the number?
And we can't make bottles for tea, for example. We can make bottles only for water.
Okay. What about less temperature, nonetheless? About maybe about nine minus temperature. Maybe it's 5 minus temperature.
And I think we can use this plastic in minus temperatures. I don't find any information that PLA plastic we can't use PLA plastic in low minus temperatures.
Okay, thank you for confirming.
All right, and now, Mark, your question.
Yes, thank you for presentation. So my question, in your point of view, how fast our worlds can make a changeover from plastic to PLA?
I think in 20 or 30 years, because this type of plastic need to be improved because in this form the PLA plastic is now, we can't use it in our ordinary life because it's very expensive. And as I say, we can also use it for water. For example, we can't use it for tea or for coffee hot because, and I think it's not very useful for us. And now people will choose ordinary bottles than PLA bottles.
Okay, thank you for answering.
And okay, thank you, Daria, for your presentation and answering for our questions and your wonderful report. And dear participants, the reports are over for today. Thank you so much for your time and your participation today. It was wonderful.
Sophia, thank you for your supporting of this scientific event. Dear reporters, speakers, thank you for your interesting and thought-provoking reports. And the agenda of the conference is over. Take care of yourselves, stay safe and healthy. Good luck, thank you.